Thinking you want to journey down home to expose your creativity? Concerned about what you need to do to benefit from that? Pause, think about it with intentional thought, and consider where we go from here. Stay tuned and hear what business partners Keva and Natalie Carey got to say about building a niche brand with down home. You know, down home, the things that we like to be, all natural and in place. Join our co-sponsors, Dom Dev Enterprises and Paget Investments, and our friends at Something to Think About, and post your questions. Ask all the nice things of these young people that we have here with these vibrant minds who are going to be talking to us tonight. We'll be right back.
Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles.
Welcome to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. What we think, we become. What we radiate, we attract. And what we imagine, we surely can achieve. Let's change the narrative 242. So this evening we have, as I mentioned, these vibrant, young, energetic minds with us. These two lovely ladies who's going to share some of their stories and some of the things that they're doing to help build our nation and our economy. So we have Mrs. Keva Carey, and joining us shortly is going to be Mrs. Natalie Carey. Yes, they, like I said, they're too energetic and they don't like obstacles. Obstacles, they just blow past them. You know how Steph Curry is run around everybody and then shoot them long 3 points and stuff? That's them. You know, they just team up the Splash Brothers kind of thing. Welcome, Keva. How are you today?
I am fine, and I'd like to thank you for having me on your platform and helping us scale our message and talk about this new venture.
Yes. The big things, you know, when you get to be on Bay or in Parliament Square or close to the square, you know, that's saying something. You know, I take my hat off. I'm here to take off, but take my hat off to you. And all of the good things that you all have done so far and what you have coming. Because I know, based on what I read of your bios and some of the things that people have said to me about you too, that, you know, there's only great things to come. You know, y'all have vision, pedigree, mindset, all these things to cause you to grow to big heights. So tell us a little bit, whilst we wait for Natalie, a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. So
business-wise or personal. Yeah. When I say personal, you know what I mean.
Well, my name is Keva Carey, and I am experienced in working with small businesses, helping them to scale, being an integral part of the operations. I am now a part of my own venture, you know, putting that energy, the same energy, you know, into this storefront or this community, because that's what it really is, you know, down home Bahamas. And to your point earlier, you know, we are on Parliament Street. That's where we're supposed to be. You know, that's where the Bahamians are supposed to be. So we are reclaiming the space for all of the Bahamian businesses and the local businesses that we don't see enough of in this area. You know, the area where the tourists are directed. You know, I work in the hotel industry. I've worked in the hotel industry for 10 years, so I do still have my day job, you know, while we started this venture. And I grew up, you know, working in the businesses of my father. So you know, the work ethic, I started working at a very young age. You know, I have what I would like to say, you know, is a good work ethic, and I love a challenge. And this is, you know, I'm very happy that we started this venture, and I will take all of my experience from working with my father's businesses and other businesses and the hotel industry, and, you know, to help, you know, scale this business and get it to where we know it could be.
Right. Well, you know, I went to school with your father, and we were very competitive, you know, right? We used to do some things that we were supposed to do, but, you know, But the fire in his soul, I'm sure that's in your soul. And I could see it because if you work in a day job and work in this project and other things, then you have to have fire somewhere. Or you call it passion, I think, in your,
Passion. Like,
yeah.
I prefer to call it passion. You know, some
Yes.
people say aggression, and what it is a passion and a love for what you do, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, just getting out there and you know, making your vision become you know, reality.
All right. So before we go any further, though, let's just pause for a moment of silence because today is the anniversary of the sinking of the HMBS Flamingo. The Defense Force would have been put up somewhere shortly after the independence in '73, and then in 1980, on this day, is when they were going south, and then there was this interaction with some Cuban MiGs who actually fired on our Defense Force officers, sunk the boat, and unfortunately, four of our members perished in the event, and the other 14 and the captain, commander, Amos Rule, was able to be rescued from the waters. The able seamen would be Fenwick Stirrup, David Tucker, Edward Williams, and Austin Smith, but they all should be honored to me as national heroes. So just 2 seconds of moment of silence. May their souls and all the souls of the faithfully departed rest in peace. So now let's look at down home Bahamas. You say it exists to make it easier for locals and tourists alike to easily discover and uncover true Bahamian owned products. We believe this will build a stronger, homegrown small business community and better the economy of the Bahamas. What inspired that? What clicked that in your head or your head?
Well, as you know, we're still in very much in the middle of a pandemic, and like I previously stated, I do work in the hotel industry, so I did experience a period of unemployment, and during that time, like everybody, you know, us unemployed persons had to get creative,
Right.
and you know, I decided at one point that I would travel. You know, my hotel opened a few times and closed a few times abruptly. And at one point, I said, you know what, I'm tired of quarantining at home. Let me go change my quarantine scene for a little bit. And I decided to travel to Florida, where my brother lives. Um, you know, as Bahamians, our tradition has always been to shop abroad, right? Most things that we buy away, and the fortunate ones or the fortunate among us that have persons that actually reside in the United States, you know, their houses starts to become a little bit of a storage for us that like to order online and pick up and go. And so there was a particular product that I came to love. It was a lip balm, and I had purchased it at various retail locations around the island, and it became my favorite. It became my go-to, and I was out of this particular lip balm, you know, prior to the trip, and so to myself, I just said I would buy it when I get away, because you know, we buy in bulk online, so I'll just order it when I
Right.
get there. And so I traveled, and when I had a moment, I was looking for this particular product online for a very long time. I could not remember the name, but I knew how it looked, and it took me a while, you know, searching Amazon, searching Google, and I couldn't find it. So I had to actually make a call and have somebody go to my house and look at the empty tube and give me the name. And so once I got the name, I found the website. I purchased about 10 because I said, you know, I didn't want to be faced with this problem anymore. And just casually reading about the product, I came to realize that it's a product that's made in the Bahamas by a Bahamian. And so it almost, you know, just casual conversation, it became almost a little bit of a joke because I flew to Florida to buy a product that was made in the Bahamas to have it shipped to me from Nassau to Florida. And so there a discussion began with my sister and I, who's also my partner and the founder of Down Home Bahamas. Um, and we just began to discuss why her question to me was, how is it you did not know that, your this favorite product of yours is a Bahamian made product?
Mm-hmm.
And the sad reality is our automatic or we don't automatically seek to find a product locally.
Mm-hmm.
Not unless it's very well known and not unless it's already built a reputation. We normally would go to Google and whatever Google spits out, and to look for the any items that we wanted, any products or
Right.
services. And so that was basically my response to her, because being a small community, it was very hard for her to understand how I didn't know that this product was made right there. And so we during that conversation, the question came up: how do we make it easier for
Okay.
Bahamian businesses to be discovered? The same way that I
Mm-hmm.
had to go through that experience to realize that this product that beat out all the international brands for me was made by somebody like me, and someone
Mm-hmm.
from my country and in my country. How do we help more businesses like this become discovered? And so what we did is we began a Instagram page, and we call it's Down Home Bahamas, and we began to search for Bahamian businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Cool.
began to populate them on our page, highlight them, show Bahamians these businesses exist, and over time we I think we follow 900 plus now, maybe over 1,000 at this point. But our page became somewhat unintentionally, but
Mm-hmm.
it's good. It became somewhat of a directory for persons to find local businesses and local services. And
Mm-hmm.
so the feedback what we began to get over time was, wow, I didn't realize that I could get this done here, but I saw you guys highlight this company on our page.
Mm-hmm.
And then with time it became a little bit more than that. It became us acting as a liaison between the businesses and the consumer, because then we would get persons that message and say, hey, do you know how much this product costs, or can you tell me about it? And we would start to reach out to companies to let them know that people want to know about their product. And so as our page grew and became more popular, we decided that the next best step would be to help persons interact. During the pandemic, a lot of the pivot was toward digitization, which is
Right.
very important. But there are still people that would like to interact with products. There are still people that like to go into a store. And we thought it very important to put these products front and center for not only locals, but also tourists.
Right.
And so we began to look for a space in the downtown area, which is the shopping hub for all of the tourists.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it took some
That's how you got
time.
there. Mm-hmm.
Right. We looked around, and like you said earlier, we are on Parliament Street. You can't get more side street than Parliament Street.
No.
And we definitely will be Front Street in the future, but we are on Parliament Street, located right next to Legacy Store, Coles of Nassau, and next to Bahamian Cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Two great stores that have already built up a reputation. We're right in between them. And now tourists that come to visit for a few hours can come into our store and actually interact with products that were made on other islands,
Mm-hmm.
and without having to visit them. And that became, that is what our goal is. Also,
See,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead. Yeah.
It's also about making it easier for people to have a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a lot of the businesses a lot of our members are businesses that started during the pandemic, and they're home based businesses. And so the average small business cannot just look for a location. They have to consider overhead, they have to consider salary, they have to
Right.
consider marketing, a lot of expenses to have their items in a retail location. And so
Mm-hmm.
what we do is we make it easy by providing the expertise. We provide you with the brand ambassador. We provide you with the location, and you have a space that you could call your own, and say that you have a retail location downtown.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome because I mean, some to think about with their happy nose need a little back room there somewhere we can have a studio because we still doing the virtual thing too because studio space is extremely expensive in time and coordination and all of that. And so what you all are doing is really and truly dealing with all of the overhead activities which people may not have the expertise with, to deal with first and foremost in running their own business and provide them with a channel where they can leverage what you all do in order to bring their products and services to the table. Awesome.
Yes.
So why is that so important though to elevate and to allow the small creatives to be able to have a voice, for lack of a better term?
So during the pandemic, there was a trend. I don't know if we became each other's supporters for the most part because we had no choice. So the
Okay.
many of the businesses that the persons the talents that they had and that maybe they were sitting on talents, they know how to make jewelry, they know how to design clothes. A lot of persons turn to those talents to create businesses in order to survive.
Right.
And so it's very important that we make sure that that is not a trend. It's not a just, oh, because we're in a pandemic and everybody's stuck at home and we have to find a way. We want to be able to help these businesses scale. We want to be able to, the same experience that I have with the lip balm that beat out all the international brands. We want this to be an experience or an opportunity for somebody else's brand to be recognized and possibly grow. What I truly believe is that these locations should all be separate stores because this, these are all Bahamian businesses. These are all Bahamian made products and Bahamian owned. And there's not, honestly speaking, there's not enough of it in the tourist area. Just based on the feedback of the members and tourists alike, they're very happy to discover and to know that they're supporting an actual small business that is owned by a Bahamian. And the importance of it for our members is that they get to test their products in a retail market. Some of the feedback that we've gotten from our members is that I get to create what I want to create at my leisure,
Right.
versus when I had an online presence, I would lose out on orders because it's made to order. Because someone Bahamians, and I'm one of those last minute Bahamians, extremely last minute. I would be admiring something for 2 weeks and I need it Saturday and I'm going to call you on Friday because that's when I made the decision. And many of the businesses that I tried to support, especially the local businesses, I I ended up being unable to support them for that same reason because I would reach out and this is like, oh, there's a 48-hour turnaround because
Right.
they can't afford to create in bulk, and so some of the feedback from the members is like, I create a certain product that one particular company is buying, but they only want this and they want it at this price. But
Right.
now I get to show all of my talents and I get to show that I don't just create this type of product. I could create an array of products and I get to test them in a market and get feedback from the consumer as to, what they like more.
Right.
And so I think, that's one of the most important parts about what we're doing and being able to help these businesses continue to survive and thrive.
Awesome. That's real awesome to be that. And and the thing about it is, people, we talk about these things, and Keva said she took the ball up and ran with it. She didn't allow COVID to hold her back, and that's why I say obstacles is not an excuse for them. They just see what the need is, focus on it, design something, and go at it. You might succeed, you might not succeed, but go, do. Right? Nike says just do it. This kind of thing, right? And so, awesome. So, from that state of mind, then, when we look at the big picture and we say to organically grow the business from a directory of sorts, as you mentioned, into a storefront, was that an easy process to go through?
So, like I mentioned before, we were already supporting these businesses the best way we could by highlighting all of their products, making them known to a larger audience. A lot of these businesses, especially those whose stories begin on the Family Islands, don't have the digital footprint or the to
The
be
rich.
discovered, right? And so searching for the businesses in the beginning was not very easy, but as the more we discovered, it became easier, because then we
Yeah.
discovered a business that was following another business, and we just kept adding persons that way. When it came time for us, when we settled on a location, and it came time for us to onboard persons into the membership, we reached out to everyone, and the response was overwhelming. We hosted a few open houses. So what we did is we created the space, we created a template, and we had persons come through and speak to them about what it is we were trying to do, and have them envision their products in a store, envision your products in the space. And once we did that, we had, it was not difficult at all to get persons on board to be a part of our membership.
Right. And that's great, as you mentioned. So as that membership grew, that opened doors for you to do some other things, right? And so in materializing the down home culture, the word down home, why was that chosen? Because I mean, in the Bahamas, down home means something, right? But you chose down home. You might mean something different.
Well, for me, and I did, like, again, back to the conversation that initially happened around the breakfast table when we discovered that, my favorite product was locally made. Um, the discussion was then, we should, what would be cool if we had one store that represented a number of different businesses and different types of products. And then my sister was like, "What would you call something like that?" That's a very good idea. And the name just, down home, to me, down home means like going back home, going back to your roots. So that's what it means to me. And when Bahamians, and it's always been very important, a very important part of what we do, when Bahamians come into this space, I want them to feel proud, because this is all Bahamian. This is all Bahamian creativities. These are all Bahamian entrepreneurs, and we need to support each other. So when they come into this space, and I want them to feel like, this is home for me. I am in an environment that I'm familiar with, and all of these people that I'm supporting direct Bahamian families. And every time we get locals in store, I like to ask them, have they discovered something new? And the answer is always 100% yes. I realized that Nature's Way honey from Exuma, I did not know they existed. And so now this is a product that I could support. I didn't realize that we had a dishwashing liquid brand called Freshie that's out of Freeport, which is the first dishwashing liquid brand in the Bahamas. And so when they come, it's always discovery, and that is a part of our mission, to help these businesses be discovered and to help persons interact with them.
Awesome, because I mean that's a good one, because I didn't know that one. I mean, are they
You
organic
have to
too?
visit.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sure you're gonna.
I'm coming back. Yeah, I passed, but it was closed when I was passing that day. But I'm coming back. It's, downtown. You gotta come downtown at certain times to see what's there, and then come back to actually shop.
Well, to that point, this is why we have, with locals in mind, we have set our hours. They're now Monday to Saturday, 10 to 6, which
Oh, okay.
means anytime you come after 4 o'clock, you could almost always get parking right in front of the store, because we
Right.
consider that, once we consider our location, we know downtown is a very busy area. And so we want locals to be able to, after work, just stop by and,
Right.
be able to easily find parking that they don't have to pay for, and be able to support these businesses.
Wow, awesome. So, what is the common excuses that people normally give you in terms of why they can't do what y'all are doing? Because I mean, we know y'all are good and great at what you do, and so people can say, "Oh, y'all, because y'all are Michael Jordans, or y'all are this, why you can get it done." But it's fundamentals in anything, right? If we do fundamentals well, then we can get it done. So, what are some of the things that you can help people understand so they could become successful at what they do?
Well, I would say, if you have a vision and you just write a plan, figure out how you're going to map it out. It might be smaller. You might have to start on a smaller scale than you would like to initially, but I would say stick with it. I won't sit here and say that this has not been a journey. People that were following us way back when know that we started this from about last year this time, and so it was not without some obstacles, but we held fast. And despite COVID, despite obvious decreases in salaries, and I was furloughed for most of the time, we pushed through, and we did everything step by step, and here we are. Like I said, it might have took longer than usual, or maybe longer than we would have anticipated, but we did not give up. Like I said, we found the space and we did what we can. There was COVID, there was a lot of different things that presented delays, but we're here now, and I would advise anybody that do not let the delays discourage you. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Cool. So, folks out there, if you want to ask questions, do please drop them in the chat boxes, and as they come up, we'll try to address them as we can go. And so, what's his name? Ken Blanchard says that high-performance organizations have basically 4 bottom lines. One is to be the provider of choice, the investor of choice, employee of choice, and he added being a corporate sponsor of choice, a corporate citizen, I should say. You set up your business to help others. This philosophy, can that be duplicated?
Definitely. We're helping each other. You understand? Our success and the success of our members it's everybody. They succeed and we succeed. What we're doing is providing a way, and like one of our members has mentioned to us, or has expressed when he was asked, is that they would not have been downtown had this not exist. They would not have been able to do it. And this was their opportunity at doing it. And the more that they grow, the more that we grow, and we're helping each other. And so it definitely can be duplicated. It's definitely something that we want to see more of. And like I said at the beginning of the show, we are reclaiming the space for Bahamian entrepreneurs, because it's not that there isn't any, but there's not enough. And I think everybody in the Bahamas can agree that there is not enough of it in the highlight of the tourist zone.
Yeah, that's very so. And like we mentioned, Bay Street is the Mecca zone where at least you have 7,000 odd tourists, 7 million odd tourists comes off those cruise ships every year, and so forth. And so we will channel them towards your business and direction. And the more it grows, then the more word of mouth will be out there to expand your reach, which would be good, because then in the digital arena we go global. So we're coming up onto the break now. So this question would be is, how did you know how much to invest in yourself so that you could be prepared to do these type of business?
So is that person meaning like financially or invest in myself?
No, whatever the skills are you needed to obtain in order to be able to manage and run a business like this, whether it's because you are more, in my mind, the innovator of the two, correct? No? Anyway,
I wouldn't say that, no.
Okay.
I think
but
this
in
would
terms
not
of
exist without either of us. I think we bring equal.
Yeah,
equal
but you bring
innovation
skills to the table. Each of you
Yes.
bring
Each
skills
of
to the
us
table.
brings a set of skills to the table that the other,
Right. So how do you know? Because people have skills and stuff, and sometimes they don't know how to invest or how to upscale themselves or how much to invest in themselves. But they're always doing something for something else and not necessarily for themselves and uplifting themselves, upgrading themselves.
So I would say that if you find that you can have the dedication and the passion behind somebody else's vision and somebody else's dream, you can definitely do it for yourself.
Right.
And so the same energy, the same work ethic, the same sleepless night that you have, and the worries that you have for a company that you work for, where you're not a stakeholder, is
Right.
the same energy that you can bring to something for yourself. And not everybody is not everybody wants to have their own business or wants to be open something very huge. But even if you have a small talent, like I said, a lot of the persons that are members, a lot most I could probably say almost all of the members maybe have work day jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's
I
great.
like to joke and say, my side hustle is your side hustle, because all of us side hustling right now, hoping to be able to dedicate 100% time to our passions. But I would say if you're going to do it 110%, and rightfully so, because you're being compensated, right? You sign up to do something for somebody else. I would say to apply that same enthusiasm into anything that you would like to do, and you will be very surprised at what you can achieve. As I sit
Yeah.
here 2 months later, it's still very unreal to me that this is happening.
Yes,
You know?
but you all have a beautiful store, and to do that doesn't just happen by a flick of the pen or whatever. So that they required work and dedication and effort, as you mentioned, and so forth. And your model for what you are doing is, to me, is going to be really earth changing because in the Bahamas, because like you mentioned, a lot of people may not have the skills that you all have in order to run a business, or might not have the capacity to run a business, whether it is time, money, whatever. And so you provide a vehicle for other people to do, get their products out and be in the commercial arena and so forth. And this model could be duplicated in other areas also. So we're going to take a little short break right here now to pay the piper. And as you know, you got to do that every so often.
Yes.
And you listening here with something to think about with Dale Happy Knowles. And we're talking with Keva Carey. And we will be right back.
Sammy's Chicken. There's nothing like it.
Behind every scoop, lick, and savor is a smile and memory being made or reminisce. Whether you're at work, out with family on a Sunday, or have friends visiting, flavor will meet expectations in our 32-ounce container for only $10 if you're having a special event as well. Exotic flavors ranging from soursop to Guinness is definitely worthwhile.
Welcome back to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We're here this evening talking with Keva Carey about building a niche brand by using down home. I call it a portal in real life, in living color, something that you could touch and feel, walk into the store, meet the people. And so it's, digital is the thing of today, and we can reach everybody that way, but we also love to touch and feel and smell the aromas and stuff like that that you can't get in digital. But, those things are going to be big, 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 big. And so we look forward to being able to move our economy to make it much great and bigger. I always talk about this $100 billion economy, and what we're talking about here today, I could see very well taking up a couple billions of dollars by itself, just in this niche market of small and medium-sized businesses and so forth. And so as we wait for our producer to come back to add our guest back to the screen, we know that Peter F. Drucker says that because the purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer and to build, the enterprise has two and only two basic functions: marketing and innovation. Marketing and innovation produce results as the rest of the cost. Marketing is the distinguishing, unique function of a business, right? So we want to welcome back Keva to the show. And I know she probably thought we was cutting her off altogether, but she got too much knowledge and too much information to share today for that to happen. And so forward. So welcome back, Keva.
Hello.
Good. So how important is it to collaborate? Because I was saying earlier, might have been off, but I was saying one of you were more dominant on the innovative side and one was more dominant on the marketing side. And they're the two key things that Drucker says is key to successful businesses. But how important is it to collaborate? Because sometimes one person has more of the other. And so we complement each other, something like a marriage, right?
Yes.
And so forth. Yeah.
So collaboration is extremely important. Like you said, everybody brings something different to the table. And so when you're doing something as a partnership, you always need somebody to think it all the way through. Maybe I have an idea, maybe, once you need someone to bounce ideas off of. You need to use somebody as the consumer and put yourself in the consumer's shoe. And, so it's very important that collaboration is important because, like I said, you may have a skill that I don't have or vice versa. And that way, we're able to complement each other and basically build a successful business.
Cool. And so you all operate like a matrix, or is it these old school structure where somebody gotta be the chief and the next one have to be Tonto or whatever?
No, so I am more operations. I'm on the ground. I deal with staffing, and I meet persons in person. My partner does not reside here. She is based in Florida, so she handles a lot of. She comes back and forth, obviously a lot, but she handles she heads our marketing. She handles all written communications, and so we work as a team. We both full time. We're both have a lot of responsibilities in the business, in the companies that we work for. So we're both responsible for departments or areas of big operations, and so we complement each other in whatever it is that she can't handle, I can normally handle, and we work as a team without a glitch. And so anything that she communicates, I am aware of, and vice versa. If I can't deal with a situation, they reach out to her, and we just share responsibilities equally. And like I said, it's we complement each other. So that's what makes the business so successful.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that is a good model to follow right now, because that seems to be what is working well, particularly for persons in your age group and younger. Some of the old school's way of doing things doesn't really gel in the modern culture and the like. So, how does a creative benefit in partnering with Down Home, if you want to say from that point of view. So if they bring their product, is it like consignment, or that there's a cutoff or a certain percentage, like a realtor, or how does that model work for them? Yeah.
So what our memberships start at $100 for 12 months, or 15% commission, whichever is greater. And so what happens is you come in, and we do offer flexible. We have flexible memberships. We have 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. When you come in, you're assigned your own unique area of the store. So that's basically your storefront within our storefront. And like I said, it's $100 or 15%, whichever is greater. And so they're basically paying a membership fee that gives them, access to staffing, the overhead, and the space that they need to be in a retail location, or to actually, have a storefront.
And people could come in and enjoy the air condition whilst they look at the stuff, and not just have to be at the park through the corner, around by the canap tree, around, and all that kind of stuff. Cool. So, is Down Home like a Bahamian Amazon that you can touch and feel? Is it? Would you be looking to grow your model to something like that also?
We are definitely. We definitely have ambition to go whichever direction best highlights these businesses, right? So like I always tell people, I already know which building we're going to have on Front Street. And guess what? If there's a bigger plan than Front Street, we will be there. But already 2 months in, I can say, and I'm very grateful that the response has been overwhelmingly positive. We have a very much a waiting list for persons to enter the location. We actually will be onboarding more members for June, and we're actually working on creating space. So we would have opened on March 8th of 2022. We have had our grand opening in April 23rd. And since then, there are many persons that are interested in being a part of our collective. And we are happy to give everyone opportunity. Again, we have 3 months, 6 month, 12-month packages. And so the goal with this location is for the Bahamian to come in and discover, and then to come back 6 months and discover new, and then to come back 6 months again, and it's like, oh, there's a new business here. So we want it to be an environment that changes, because again, we are here for locals and tourists alike. So that one peak customer that comes off the cruise ship that may not visit again for 5 years, very important that they reach out and they touch these small businesses and be able to actually support Bahamian families directly, and actually, contribute to growing our economy in that way, and possibly discover a product that they fall in love with and decide that they want to ship or come back or send friends to. But it's also very important that the locals come, and every time they come, they're discovering new ways to support Bahamian businesses and discovering new businesses that they didn't know exist. So we want the person that's sitting down thinking about becoming an entrepreneur to look at Down Home Bahamas and say, I want to be in there, because that's a goal that I could reach. You understand? The average person can't sit down and start a business and say, I want a storefront on town. And what we're offering is the opportunity to do that, to make that as easy as possible for you. And so this is what we want to grow to. That place where from inception of your business, we will say, and I'd like to be in downtown to get, my retail experience, because that's something that's achievable for me now.
Right. And that's great. And so when we look at that, then you said you started out from the point with the directory of sorts where you collected all the names. And so you built a community.
Yes.
Why is community important to Down Home?
Well, it is important because we are our community, right? And we would like to see, I would like to see every one of these businesses with their own storefront downtown, because that's what downtown should be, right? A collection of Bahamian-owned businesses, Bahamian-made products and services that we display to the world at large that comes to visit us. You mentioned there were like 7 million cruise ship passengers that come through. They should be seeing the talent of the Bahamas. And so the community is very important, because the community is us. We don't want to continue to have to work for the larger corporations that come in, and the support for the community stops at hiring somebody to work in the location, right? Or them having locations that are everywhere and there's nothing unique about it. And it goes back to some of the feedback we get from tourists. When they come in, they're looking for a unique experience. They're looking for something that they can say they bought in the Bahamas that's not on Amazon. And we want everybody to get on Amazon, but it's not there yet. It's a unique homemade or handmade product that's not duplicated. And so.
And you reach across the whole Bahamas in terms of persons who are participating in your program.
Yes. So we have representation from Harbor Island in the way of Bahamas Coffee Roasters, right?
Okay.
And Savvy Clips and Sticks, which is like a jewelry and hair line, hair accessory line. We have Bahamas Sponge King that harvests the sponge out of Long Island. We have Azuraj House of Fashion that has roots from in Andros. We have Nature's Way Honey that comes all the way from Exuma. So our goal is 700 islands under one roof, and we want representation from every island, because again, it's also convenience. Retail is convenience. Retail is shopping at your leisure, and that is what you can get. Or being able to interact at your leisure with products and services that you would normally have to wait for it to come on the mailboat in order to get. We have Fab Beauty Supply that's out of Freeport. So we have islands represented, and we have a skincare line that was created by a young lady who resides in Nassau now, but she's originally from Freeport. So we want people to be able to come inside here and get things at their convenience and leisure that would normally take them a few days or even a week to get.
Right. So also distribution for the product. If somebody was to see it online or come in the store and then they wanted something shipped to them, do you do the whole gamut, or is it they will have to get somebody separate?
We have not reached that stage in our model where we provide online shopping. It's definitely a next step for us, or it's definitely we definitely have it in our future plans. But we are happy to help. We've already gotten requests from persons that just want to support, and they said, well, would you help me ship out the items? Absolutely.
Right, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So if you were seeing in the commercial break, there was a company flavor with ice creams. You have a lot of dry products. What would you all be receptive to companies like that who do stuff like ice cream or mixed stuff?
Absolutely. So right now we have it's Switcherific in store, which is a lemonade brand, very popular. And you could get lemonade in different flavors. We are actually working through onboarding members that have edible products. So we may have a few coming in. Don't want to give out any secrets, so stay tuned. You will see some more edible products in here very soon. You have to follow us on Down Home Bahamas or on Instagram.
I already follow y'all. Yeah.
Yes, or our Facebook page, Down Home Bahamas, to just keep up with new members that we're onboarding. But we're definitely looking at ways that we can support that aspect, or those entrepreneurs that have edible goods.
Cool. And so from a customer and a merchant point of view, customers, what are they been asking for that you would like to be able to give them next? And then the merchants, the same question. Yeah.
So with customers, while they are discovering, some of them that know certain brands, we've been able to provide feedback to the entrepreneurs or to our members about customers asking for stuff in certain sizes, or maybe they like a certain product, but they prefer it in a different color. And so we've been able to provide those that feedback to our members to help them scale and to help them, understand from the consumer standpoint, what's moving and what the consumer really likes. From a merchant standpoint, like I said, we provide feedback. We provide weekly feedback automatically. We let them know what we think is working based on the customer feedback. I would not say, I can't off the top think of a lot of questions that they are, other than, new merchants wanting to come into the space,
Okay.
or but basically we automatically provide fee for, as a part of this membership. Again, it's a partnership. And so while we market and you market and everybody together gets the word out there, when you win, we win. And so we
Yeah.
cannot do it without each other. And so we have been consistently providing feedback on what we think works. And I think, the members are really satisfied and happy so far. And, I can't think of anything where it's like,
Yeah. So it sounds to me like y'all really and truly are a chamber of commerce also. Because y'all are doing a lot of what some of the things that they would do for the small to medium sized businesses, which has always been a complaint about businesses, is that the chamber and those the size, you always focus, people always focus on their biggest customers or the biggest clients or like, and so the small men always get left behind. And so it's good to hear what you're saying, because then it provides a good avenue for the whole small to medium-sized businesses to grow in leaps and bounds. And also to get their products in front of, like you said, the tourists who coming off the ships, who are looking for a certain package of products, which they don't normally get.
right.
When you could go into one spot and get it. And so, that is great. So, why Bahamian niche and not the widespread? You indicated before, but I want to harp on this before we decide to do anything different for the rest of the day. The specific reason for Bahamian, because people always say, well, you can make more money with going across a wider scale, but you pick a niche market.
Well, we are Bahamian, right? So it is important for us. It is important for us to be discovered and in the global market. And it's very important because of what you just said. There are corporations set up that help smaller businesses, but we need more of it. We could all agree that we need more persons helping each other, and we like to call this a membership because that's what it is. It's more than a retail store. It's the community. What we do is we push the small Bahamian businesses, and the hope is that they become big Bahamian businesses, and they're able to say that, I got the opportunity here at Down Home. This is where I started, and we hopefully, the goal is for all of us to grow together. It is important because Bahamians are not highlighted enough. It is important because you can walk, in my research, walk from one side of downtown to the next, and there's definitely not enough authentically Bahamian there. And this is why we thought this was so important, and so important for us to be in this space that we like to say that we're reclaiming, because you have to kind of reclaim it when there's not enough of it.
Right.
We have to slowly take it back.
Right. Yes. Well, and the thing to me it would be is that, everybody has a space that they need to have to accommodate. And so different people could operate in different spaces because they provide a different need or they fulfill a different need. But what you're doing is grossly undertake on the Bay Street area that, there's a great need for it, which, we take off our hat to you guys for tackling this, particularly at this point in time, because it's really timely. Because, like I say, $100 billion economy coming quick. And people, they laugh at me with my bald head saying that, but that can happen. Right? I already see that in the making. So what obstacles would you wish to see removed so that small to medium-sized businesses like yourselves can flourish more so in that space which you all are in now? Whether it's a policy, whether it's, I don't know, if I'm the prime minister and I could cause things to happen, what would you like to see happen?
Well, I would say I can speak about the downtown community, me being a business owner in the downtown community and just being confronted with some of the issues that my neighbors have been battling. I would say if I got to speak to the Prime Minister, I would say we would definitely have to look at parking. You know, making it easier and removing the obstacle of people actually, especially locals, wanting to come downtown. I think there's a lot that we could do, and I think that there's a lot that's happening. So I may be late, but I'll definitely join in those voices of persons that are looking for better solutions to the parking situation so that the retail businesses can flourish a little bit more. I would say that I must commend all of the persons that I dealt with from opening a bank account, a business bank account, to getting the business license up and running. It was not an easy process. I do believe it could be made easier, but you know, for grace, I got to interact with a lot of people that actually, you know, extended themselves and made sure that we got what we needed to get, and are still doing it. But you know, this is the Bahamas, right? We could be honest for a moment. A lot of the processes could be a little bit more straightforward, and you know, a lot of the red tape and the time that it takes to do stuff could be reduced. I think the process of getting the business license, if it's made, and I understand they are working on it, and I'm looking forward to the changes. I'm here for recommendations if anybody wants to ask me. But I think, you know, it would help to propel more persons into entrepreneurship, because it can at times feel like a deterrent.
Right.
And I'm sure it's been a deterrent to people in the past.
Yeah, but I always ask that question because, or some rendition of it, because, you know, we at Dom Dev Enterprises is about innovative solutions. And so once the more we understand what are the challenges out there, then as an engineer, we go about trying to design solutions and make recommendations and the like. And so I mightn't be the Prime Minister, but I might have the ear of somebody who has the ear of the Prime Minister. And we could cause some things to happen possibly. So as we coming down now, you all are great people. You all have great pedigree, you business-wise, talk about your dad and so forth. What will be next for Down Home? Once you get what you want, where you're in the space you're in now, what without going to giving proprietary secrets and stuff like that, what would be the next major step in your business career?
So Down Home, like I said, we opened about 2 months, so maybe a little bit over 2 months now. This space and the response has been overwhelming from the local and tourist community alike. And what we are focused on now is continuing to grow. We are definitely, if you came by and see us, please come by next month. You're going to see some new businesses to discover, new businesses to interact with, and we are going to keep growing until this space is too small. And then you'll see the next step. But the best way to keep up with our journey is to keep up with us, and you could do that by following us, either on Facebook or Instagram. If you're interested in becoming a part of the collective, you could also go to downhomecollective.com and read about our mission and fill out an application form, which is the first step. And then we will definitely reach out to you. And, you know, like I said, our focus right now is growth and creating, you know, bringing more businesses into the space.
Right. And so those we put on screen just now, the Instagram and the well, that's the real website.
That's that's our website.
Right, and then the Facebook and a number. Do you have a number for that people could call into the store, or is it they have to come in?
No, they can call us at 603-707-0703. Sorry, 603-0703 is our store number. All of our numbers are listed on our Instagram and Facebook page. And if you come in, you get a business card, and you can contact myself and Natalie. Our contacts is there. Our contacts are there. We do have a WhatsApp number. I'm not ashamed to say I don't know it offhand because nobody knows. It's a new number. But all of the information go to Down on Bahamas on our Instagram page and hit contact. All of our contact information is there.
Yeah, you know, nobody remembers numbers anymore, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's old school.
that's
My
all.
mom knows.
When you asked me that,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I think I got the store one in my head, but
Yeah.
because I call it so much.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
don't
great.
focus
That's
on that
awesome.
either. Please go to the page and make sure you hit contact. And we're easy to reach. You could also send us a message on Instagram as well. We're very responsive to Instagram. You can send us a message on Facebook. Just give us a little bit of time, and we'll get back to you with any queries that you may have.
Awesome. So I asked you plenty of questions now, so you have the opportunity to say to the general public out there a few words that you would want them to know. I
would like to thank myself on behalf of Natalie, my partner, and the co-owner of this wonderful space that we created. I'd like to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the support. It's truly been more than we could ever anticipate. We appreciate everybody that just liked the page, came in store. If you look behind me, there's a wall that we encourage everybody to sign. All of it has been overwhelming, and we have not come to grips with, everything as yet, because we're just moving and continuing to work to continue to make this environment one that Bahamians could be proud of. And again, thank you. Thank you for everything. Just a share, a like, whether you visited, purchased something, whether you just follow us on the page and you have intentions to come through. We really appreciate everybody.
That's
and
awesome.
I want to thank you, Mr. Knowles, as well.
Right, Mr.
Dale Harvey Knowles.
Right.
for having me on your show and helping us to scale our message and get the word out about these wonderful Bahamian businesses that do exist in our country and the talented people that run them, and hopefully it brings more people into our location to discover.
Yes, well, that's often you're quite welcome. The whole purpose of Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles is to actually highlight and bring before the public people who are doing innovative things and novel, and particularly the youth, and to show them avenues that they could get involved with, or things that they are doing to bring to the forefront for people to be able to see and be exposed to. And so
I love how you keep saying youth.
Huh?
I'm young.
Because, you're young. Listen, you got hair on your head, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're young, right? But so I mean that's our main goal, and we would appreciate if you share it amongst your friends and colleagues and stuff like that. Let them know, it's an open door. If they want, just call us if they're doing something creative and novel, different than what everybody else is doing. Then we'll highlight them.
I'll definitely share with you some of our business owners, and in the event that you want to speak with them about their journey and how they became entrepreneurs, especially in a very difficult time of the pandemic, because there are a lot of stories in this location as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you kindly, and thank you everybody out there in social media, Madam Producer. We always got to have a producer to do the show.
So, thank you, producer.
It's all the work in the background that goes on. I'm only the pretty face in the picture here on the screen, and they doctor that up to make that look like that too. So and so forth. So we appreciate you being with us. We want you to continue to grow and strengthen you and Natalie to get your business to grow, strengthen, and become that icon, that beacon for everybody else and youth to be able to strive and have faith that they can do successes, not just the person with all the big money get to do these things. So kindly,
yes, sir.
You're welcome. Stay safe, everybody. Watch more videos at the end. Click on the link and enjoy. Madam Producer.
Enjoyed the show? Then subscribe to us for more educational and inspirational content. Ring the bell so you never miss a show. Let's change the narrative 242